The 10x reduction in data footprint and the power consumption reduction, I think these are fairly significant reductions, and this is kind of consistent with the different ODA customers that I'm talking to. So, and also the items that we have talked about in the wish list, we are working on them. The one-button PR, we already have it as a tool available for customers to use from one ODA to another. But before I digress too far on the next topic, to talk about Yodlee's international expansion, here is Jeff Schulte. And Jeff, you're going to talk to us about how you got 3 to 5x lower server and storage capex, and also a 30% reduction in admin OpEx. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thanks, Owen. We have a very similar business case to Aon in that we're using the ODA to help out with our business with our international expansion. So starting off a little bit about Yodlee. At the core of the Yodlee business, we provide a platform for financial institutions and online service providers to build innovative financial applications for their online consumers. We do this by having a set of web services that allows customers to connect into tens of thousands of different financial institutions and billers to get their data in one place so they can then take financial actions against that data, whether they're managing their finances or moving money from one place to another, paying a bill, opening an account, etc. As a company, Yodlee's been around for about 12 years. In that time, we've acquired 600 customers that use the Yodlee services. Those range from 8 out of 10 largest banks in North America that are using one or more Yodlee services in their online platform, down to a lot of startups that are innovating web apps and new capabilities that allow people to do very innovative things with finances. We have over 40 million registered users in Yodlee services, and our customer base operates out of 10 different countries, and we operate out of 2 data centers in North America currently. In terms of our relationship with Oracle, we've relied on Oracle as our OTP ever since the inception of the company. Currently, we run at about 120 million transactions a day. Our ATPS, our database environment, is well over 2,000 TPS, averages over 1,000 TPS throughout the day. There's over 3 billion queries a day running in our OLTP environment, and our consumer data resides in over 40 terabytes of storage. Not the largest Oracle installation in the world, but pretty reasonable size. So some of the business drivers for ODA. Quite simply, our customers are demanding that we expand our operations internationally. We have a lot of business opportunities to bring on banks and financial institutions into our service in the international space. And what we're finding in the market is that they are requiring for their data to stay in their country, which, since we only have 2 North American data centers, is a problem for us. So as a result, Yodlee needs to build the capability to rapidly deploy international data centers. So some of the key challenges to accomplishing this, first and foremost on our mind is cost. We're a business and we've got to look out for the bottom line, and so it's important to us to be able to start off with a low-cost solution and low-footprint solution. In many cases, some of our prospective customers are going to start off with 10 to 20,000 consumers, and we need the ability to put in a low footprint that's going to be a viable business from the start. The second thing is scalability. It's got to scale up. So we might start at 10 to 20,000 customers, but we have to be able to scale up to 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. And we also have to have a solution that allows us to maybe start at 1 or 2 million. Many of the banks, international banks, are going to have that many customers just out of the gate. It has to be easy to set up and manage. We want to be able to utilize our existing staff in North America management environment. It has to be secure. We are a holder of financial information for our customers, and we need to know that that data is secure and in our possession at all times. So, given that, we embarked on a 6-month architecture scale project. It was actually only intended to be a 3-month project, but it took us 6 months to finally complete. So we first cast a pretty wide web and looked at 15 different solutions, ranging from cloud-based solutions to a lot of different virtualization technologies to traditional database infrastructure. Ultimately, we shortlisted 5 different solutions, prototyped them in our performance lab, and ODA won out as the best solution across all the 4 categories mentioned earlier. So this slide really represents how the ODA won us over. So it was so easy to set up, and it performed right out of the gate. We got cognitive of the ODA from our account management team, and within a week we had it brought into our data center, into our performance environment, put our performance database onto it, and ran a benchmark against it. And these numbers represent the first benchmark we ran on the ODA right out of the box. So we got a 20% improvement in our application transactions per second. We had over a 10% improvement in response time right out of the gate. So one of the second tests, so our first test we ran on a rack 1 configuration with 12 cores enabled. We ratcheted that down to 4 cores, ran the same test, got the same results. And for us, that was a big win. We had a solution that we could start off with 1 or 2 Oracle licenses on and scale up to 12 Oracle licenses. So as we delved further into the ODA, compression became a big deal for us. So the ODA is a single appliance. It does have a limited amount of storage involved. So for us, we wanted to make sure we get the most out of that storage. Currently we don't run Oracle Advanced Compression in our production environment, but we decided to test it out. And we got the exact same results with compression enabled as without enabled. And we got a 2-to-1 compression ratio. So we're going to essentially double the amount of usable space within the ODA. Next was running rack 1 failover test. Our intention is to start off with rack 1 for our smaller international customers to reduce costs. And so we set up rack 1, ran our performance test against it, failed over, and it met all of our standard SLA requirements. We're quite pleased with how smoothly it failed over. And finally, in the name of maximizing the usable storage on the ODA, we wanted to test out the external configuration. So we brought in an external device, tested out with the data on the external device, as well as the archive logs running off the external device, and those performance tests ended up perfect. So our final international architecture, we're going with ODA with an external configuration. So by doing an external configuration, we're getting all 3.6 usable terabytes in the ODA available for us for our data streams. For external storage, we're just using a commodity storage provider. We're putting archive logs, backups, and recovery. We're also using Oracle Advanced Compression, which is essentially getting us 7.2 terabytes out of the usable space. And finally, we're using DataGuard for our replication between our primary and secondary data centers. So in summary, ODA for us was the fastest deployment time of any system we tested. It has the built-in, it has rack built-in, so failover and redundancy built in a single device. Performance was great, no tuning, and from a cost perspective, it was really amazing. The pay-as-you-grow license model is allowing us to start off with 1 Oracle license and scale up to 12 within a single device, which is perfect for us as we grow our international businesses. We're achieving a 3 to 5x improvement in CapEx without having to buy a traditional Oracle database cluster, SAN switches, SAN array, and replicate that across 2 data centers. We just have an ODA in the primary and secondary data center with a commodity storage attached. And in terms of management, we estimate like a 50% improvement in administrative costs. Currently, we have 4 ODAs purchased. Our first international data center is going to be going live. It's already up and running. First client's going to be going live in a couple months from now. We also purchased the ODA for another internal project where we need to segment out a user segment in our main production environment, and we intend to expand into 2 more international data centers this year. So I definitely recommend the ODA solution to anyone who's got a similar problem. Thanks.